Let's read the scriptures today.
在罗马书6章1到23节。好，请。怎么说呢？我们可以仍在罪中叫恩典显多吗？断无不可。我们在罪上死了的人，岂可在罪上活着呢？岂不知我们这受洗归入耶稣基督的人，是受尽归入他的死吗？所以，我们借着洗礼归入死，和他一同埋葬，叫我们一举一动有新生的样式，就像基督借着父的荣耀从死里复活一样。我们在罪的刑罚上与他联合，也要在他复活的刑罚上与他联合。因为我们知道我们的旧人和他同定十字架，
使罪身灭绝，叫我们不再做罪的奴仆。因为已死的人是脱离了罪。我们若是与基督同死，就信必与他同活。因为知道基督既从死里复活，就不再死，死也不再做他的主了。他死是向罪死了，只有一次；他活是向神活着。这样，你们向罪也当看自己是死的，向神在基督耶稣里却当看自己是活的。所以，不要容罪在你们必死的身上作王，使你们顺从身子的私欲，也不要将你们的肢体献给罪做不义的器具，倒要像从死里复活的人，将自己献给神，并将肢体做义的器具献给神。罪必不能做你们的主，因你们不在律法之下，乃在恩典之下。这却怎么样呢？我们在恩典之下，不在律法之下，就可以犯罪吗？断乎不可！岂不晓得你们献上自己做奴仆，顺从谁，就做谁的奴仆吗？或做罪的奴仆，以至于死；或做顺命的奴仆，以致成义。感谢神，因为你们从前虽然做罪的奴仆，现今却从心里顺服了所传给你们的道理的模范。你们既从罪里得了释放，就做了义的奴仆。我因你们肉体的软弱，就照人的常话对你们说：你们从前怎样将肢体献给不洁不法做奴仆，以至于不法，现今也要照样将肢体献给义做奴仆，以至于成圣。因为你们做罪之奴仆的时候，就不被义约束了。你们现今所看为羞耻的事，当日有什么果子呢？那些事的结局就是死。但现今你们既从罪里得了释放，做了神的奴仆，就有成圣的果子。那结局就是永生。因为罪的工价乃是死，唯有神的恩赐，在我们的主基督耶稣里，乃是永生。
好，做一个祷告。
Let's pray.
天父，谢谢你。
Heavenly Father, thank you.
谢谢你在你的话语上放下这么宝贵的根基。
Thank you that you give us such a precious foundation
让
in
我
your
们了
words.
解今天我们生命的本质与光景。
And so that we understand about the essence of our life and the situation.
主，求你帮助我们，不是从奴隶到将军，乃是从奴隶成为自由的人。
Please just help us not to just from the slave to like a general, but we just want to be a free person.
乃是从自由的人明白到我们是上帝的仆人。
And from the free person, we understand that we are the servant of God.
圣经称我们是义的奴仆。
And the Bible calls that we are the servant of the righteousness.
主帮助我们端正自己的思想，
God, just please just fix our thinking
清楚自己的身份，
and understand our position
也了解我们今天所活的目标。
and understand what is the goal of our life.
感谢祷告，奉耶稣基督得胜的名求。
Pray in Jesus Christ's name.
阿门。
Amen.
好，今天讲到的题目是三奴成who。
The sermon title today is What do the three slaves become?
这题目很奇怪，会不会？
Do you think the title is very awkward?
我们常常听的成语是三人成虎。
So a lot of time we heard about an idiom. It says about 3 people make a tiger.
三人成虎什么意思呢？
So what does that mean? 3 people make a tiger.
这个成语是出自《战国策·魏策2》里边讲的。
And this idiom actually is from the strategy of the war states.
有一个人对国王说：“哎，如果有一个人告诉你说大街上来了头老虎，你相不相信呢？”
So if a person just told the king, says that there's on the street and there's a tiger coming from, do you believe it?
我不信。
And the king said, I don't believe it.
说如果有2个人说街上来了大老虎呢？
And the guy said, what if 2 people say so?
国王说：“我开始怀疑了。”
And the king said, oh, now I have a doubt.
那如果说有3个人说在马路上来老虎了呢？
So then the person said, what if 3 people say so?
这国王就说：“那我就信了。”
Then the king said, then I believe it.
所以三人成虎的意思呢，就是说一件事情讲的人多了，就比较容易让人信以为真。
So 3 people make a tiger. That means if many people say about the same thing, and people just believe it's true.
我用这个成语这个惯性，我讲三奴成who。
Therefore, I use this idiom and to talk about today's sermon title, who do the 3 slaves
以后的文字啊，写起来以后写论文，我想也有可能出现各种文字的一个 combination。 一起混在一起放在一起讲，也会成为今后的趋势。
And so maybe in the future it's kind of like a trend, and we put the different languages together, just as a message.
那么这里面说的三奴是哪3奴呢？
So what are the 3 slaves?
讲的是奴隶、奴才与奴性。
So the 3 slave means slave, flunky, and sterility.
这3种人会成为何等光景的人呢？
So how would the 3 combine together and become what kind of person?
这是我们今天讲到题目的由来，三人成who。
So that's the origin of today's sermon title. Who do the 3 slaves become?
我们现在看第一点，
Let's see the first point,
奴隶的起点。
the starting point of slave.
首先我们看看这个历史上的观察。
So first, let's observe about a history.
有没有想过什么是奴隶啊？
Have you ever thought about what is slave?
奴隶是指被某种外力的介入之下，他失去了自由、失去了价值、失去了意义的这样的人，称为奴隶。
So slave means a person just through the outside force and just make him lost his freedom and the value and the meaning.
如果从现象学的角度来看呢，对奴隶的观察只是出现的时间、方式或者地区。
So if we just look at from the phenomenology, actually the observation about a slave, we can only just look at just from the time that it appeared and the way and also where and this he appeared.
如果你打开人类的历史画册，一页一页的往回去翻，
If you look at the human history,
几乎所有最古老的记载都与奴隶或者奴隶制有关系。
so those ancient records, it's all related to the slave or the slave system.
在我们中国的先秦时代，就是秦始皇之前的这个时代，
So in Chinese history and before Emperor Qin,
就有关于奴隶的制度的记载。
actually there's some materials recorded about the slave and the person that's in the servitude.
只不过那个时候是奴和隶分开被记载，没有放在一起。
So during that time, actually, it just separated in 2 words. One is slave, the other is a person in servitude.
奴是指的一个人的身份，他是很低下的，他是在主人之下的一个人。
Slave means that a person is in very low status and he's under his master.
那隶呢是一种从属的关系，以及做奴隶的方式。
So a person in servitude, that means the way and he served as a slave.
在先秦之前呢，先秦的时代呢，这2个是分开出现的文字记载上。
So before the Qing Emperor, actually these 2 words were separated, recorded.
其实到汉代之后，奴隶这2个字开始慢慢一起来使用。
And then after Han Dynasty, and these 2 words combined together as a slave.
所以我们中国人要了解奴隶这个字怎么来的，需要有一个基本的了解。
So as a Chinese culture, we understand how these words come from.
好，我们回来看看圣经怎么留下这个痕迹。
So now let's look at the Bible, the mark in the Bible.
那你留一些圣经的记载，其实从创世纪到启示录，一直奴隶这个观念一直整本圣经都贯穿在里面。
So in the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, actually the slave is that recorded.
从神人关系的本质上来看呢，自从亚当夏娃犯罪之后呢，其实人类的奴隶身份的命定就注定了。
So just from this look at it, actually the status as a slave is like a destined.
明明神让你不要吃那树上的果子，你不听，非要去吃。
And God told you not to eat a fruit on the tree, but you just eat it.
从此你就跟神有了一个距离。
Since then, you have a distance from God.
你就成为罪的奴隶。
And you become the slave of
你
sins.
就没有办法成为义的奴隶。
And you just cannot become the righteous slave.
要直接反映就是该隐和亚伯的冲突。
And the most direct to reflect that is a conflict between Cain and Abel.
奴隶制反映的东西就是你不听我话，我杀了你，就这么简单。
So the slave system is, if you don't listen to me, I'll kill you.
你要想跟我的观点不一样，对。
So if you try to have a different opinion with me,
我选择不跟你商量。
I chose not to discuss with you.
最简单的方法杀了他。
The easiest way is just kill this person.
奴隶制的整个心理素质的根源是从这里来的。
So that's origin, the foundation of the slave system.
那今天我们有的时候在家庭里、在社会中、在工作环境当中，也容易犯这个毛病，对不对？
And today in the society or family and in the workplace, and it's a similar.
我们比较喜欢说所有人都听我的话。
And which is about like the tendency was like people to listen to us.
我是老板，员工不听话，炒鱿鱼赶走。
I'm the boss. If you don't listen to me, I'll fire you.
然后我是一个国家的国王，谁不听话，统统把他赶去做奴隶打工去。
I'm the king of the country. If you don't listen to me, I'll send you to be a slave.
所以亚当夏娃之后的后果直接反映在那两个儿子身上。
And the consequence from Adam's sin actually reflect on their children. Cain and Abel.
也为日后的奴隶制度奠定了一个社会和心理基础。
Also set a foundation and in this the slave system.
甚至我们的信心之父亚伯拉罕，大家记得吗？
And remember the father of our faith, Abraham.
他率领他自己的家丁318人，打败了5个国王。
And he led 380 people from his family and to just defeated the 5 kings.
那个时候的一个习俗，打败了人之后呢，就把脚踩在国王的头上，表明我得胜了。
And during that time, they have this culture. Once they defeated the king, they just step on the king's head.
其实这也是一种旧约时代的奴隶社会的形态，在这里表现。
And it's a society this kind of model in the Old Testament stage.
其实，在新约的腓利门书也专门记载了奴隶制度的痕迹。
So in New Testament, in the book of Philemon, also expressed in this the Roman Empire.
也表明了罗马帝国时代的奴隶制度是清清楚楚在圣经当中留下了痕迹。
And also that shows in the Bible about the slave system during the Roman Empire stage.
其实100多年前我们所住的美国，也刚刚南北战争就完成这个过程，也不是太远的地方。
And it's the same like 100 years ago, the Civil War in the United States.
然后上帝让从奴隶到一个自由人这个过程，活生生的演在我们的历史当中。
So God just let the history show us just from a slave to a free person.
最后是无力回天的。
And lastly, unable to make a change.
处于奴隶制度下的人，基本上是无可奈何，任人宰割。
So a person who's under the slave system, basically, and it's the kind of helpless, and just due to whatever people do to them.
任何一个奴隶都不因为自己的意愿而得到任何改变的机会。
And any slave, and they just cannot get any chance and just do any change just by their will.
请留意下面这句话。
Please pay attention on what I'm going to say.
奴隶是被迫的，不情愿。
The most important thing is a slave and he's being forced.
这是我今天讲的第一点，奴隶的起点。
That's the first point, the starting point of slave.
好，第二点我们看奴才的本质。
The second point is the essence of flunky.
首先是甘心乐意。
So first is be willing to.
这个从奴隶到奴才最大的不同是什么呢？
So what is the biggest difference from slave to flunky?
就是奴隶是心不甘情不愿的。
As a slave, and it's unwilling.
但是一旦进入奴才的时候，那是心甘情愿。
Once you enter to be a flunky, actually it's a willing.
其实这种观念在我们身边很熟悉，我们只是忽略忘记而已。
This kind of concept actually is very kind of popular, but we just kind of neglect.
大家记得连续剧里边的那个乾隆皇帝的那个大臣、那个宰相和珅，记得吧？
Do you remember in the soap opera, the Qianlong Emperor, and the person just served just next to him, his name is He Shen.
记得他怎么向乾隆皇帝请安吗？
Do you know how he sent his greeting to the emperor?
他说：“奴才给主子请安。”
And he said, "This flunky me, and I just send my greeting to you, master."
他说的时候是蛮有喜乐的脸是
And
超
when
高兴
he
兴。
said that, and he has a joyful face, the expression on his face.
我有时候看了这部光景，我心里面就百思不得其解。
So when I look at TV about this, the facial expression, I just don't understand why.
在大草原的时候来请安，就是骑着你半跪礼，然后就是手一遮扎，也是很有豪气的那种，对不对？
And just like when he sent his greeting to the emperor, and just the gesture, it's kind of just very nice.
但是当满人入了关之后呢，
However, when the Manchu entered China
然后被我们儒家的大染缸全然的浸泡，
and just soaked in the Confucianist,
早就失去了马上得天下的锐气。
and they really lost the dash and just tried to just get this whole world.
然后最后看看满人的结局。
At the end, you see the outcome of the Manchu.
没错，满人是被西方的船坚炮利给打败，这毫无疑问。
And no doubt they were defeated by those foreign countries.
但是你知道吗？这不是主要原因。
But you know what? That's not the main reason.
你有武器，我当时都可以买武器啊。
If you have a weapon, and I can buy the weapon too.
甲午海战的时候呢，中国的军舰的质量是比那个日本人要强、要大、要高。
So during the war between the Japanese, actually the China has the better weapon than the Japanese.
但是当时整个八旗子弟变成一个加个引号老儿子这么一个光景。
However, during the time the 8 flag youth, they just become it's so-called the old sons.
就是爸爸妈妈100岁了，儿子80岁了。
And that is the parents already 100 years old, and then the sons about 80 years old.
但是还会和母亲撒娇。
But they still just try to just please their, try to just act like a child in front of their parents.
是一种不思进取、甘愿为奴的那种心态。
It's not, they just do not keep fortune ahead and also just be willing to be a slave.
每一个满族贵族的家庭，八旗子弟都是可以直接从皇上那领俸禄，而不需要去打工，不需要去开店，不需要去耕田，不需要去有进步，不需要。
Because those are descendants from the Manchu. Actually, they can just receive the salary just from this the emperor.
所以我常常跟弟兄姐妹讲，不要把你的金钱留给你的后代。
That's why I always tell brothers and sisters, do not just leave your assets
乃
to
是要
your
把你
children,
所相信的上帝传给你的孩子。
but just pass on the Lord to your children.
你给儿女多一分钱，
If you just give even one more penny to your child,
从某种角度上来讲，就是多一份咒诅。
from a certain point, actually, it's a one curse.
我记得我两个孩子在成长的时候，我跟文文和西恩讲了，
I remember when my kids, when they grow up, I told them,
我说你们非常加个引号不幸的降生在牧师的家庭。
and I just said, you're just quote that unfortunately,
我说
you
牧
were
师
born in the pastor's
不会
family.
给你黄金，不会给你白银，也不会给你钻石，也不会给你房地产。
And I told them, I will not give you the money thing.
我记得女儿问那时候我爸爸，那你要给我什么呀？
And I remember my daughter asked me, so what will you give me, Dad?
我就跟他讲啦，我说如果你上了山，你肚子饿了，看见猎人打过来一只猎物，你会不会要这个猎物啊？
And so I asked her, if you go to the mountain and if you get hungry and you just see that something that the hunter just got, would you have it? And she said, that's good. If we can find something, we
猎物可以
can
吃
have it.
啊。
And she said, because we can eat it.
我说那你是要猎物还是要赶猎枪呢？
And I asked her, do you want the gun to the hunting gun, or you just want the thing they got?
儿子说要猎枪。
And my son said, I would rather have this
我
gun.
说你是要猎枪呢，还是要扣动扳机的那只手呢？
And I said, do you want this gun, or if you just want this finger, you can just do the trigger.
我们就女儿说，那还是要那个手好。
And my daughter said, I would rather have this finger.
我说你是要那个扣动扳机的手，还是要瞄准猎枪的眼睛呢？
I asked my daughter, you want this finger, if you can just put a trigger, or if you want the eyes.
儿子就说还是要眼睛比较好，要有眼光才行。
Then my son said, I would rather have the eyes to have the view.
我说你是要那个眼睛呢，还是要那个思想头脑带领你去哪里瞄准打猎物的那个头脑？你要哪一个？
I asked him if you want to have just your eyes and the vision, or you want to have a thinking from your brain.
两个孩子一起说：“爹地，我们都要脑袋，要成为一个有头脑的人。”
And they both said, Daddy, we want to be the person we can think with the brain.
我最后问了一个问题。
Lastly, I asked them.
你知道你们还缺什么？
I asked them, do you know what you're still lacking?
两个孩子愣了，还不够。
And they puzzled. They said, oh, really? Anything else?
我说你需要有一个带领你头脑前进的方向和力量，对不对？
I told them, you need a direction to guide you, and so you can just think with your brain.
这就是你的上帝。
And that is your Lord.
对不起，你要留什么给孩子？
Brothers and sisters, what will you leave for your
你给
children?
做金山也不做慈山宫，信不信？
Even though you give them just a mountain of gold, and it will be gone.
康熙皇帝做的那个玉玺的时候，
The Kangxi Emperor, when he made this, the emperor stand,
放了24个小狮子，
and he carved like a 24 the little lions.
为什么？
Why?
因为周朝总共只有25个国王，
Because in Zhou dynasty there are 25 emperors,
他说我不敢跟周朝相比，
and he said, I dare not to compete with the
我
Zhou dynasty.
能不能清朝少一个国王，我有24个王我就满足。
So for the Qing dynasty, and I just feel content if we have a 24 emperors.
那这个玉玺现在在台湾，不在中国没有。
Now this stand is in Taiwan.
对吧？那最后清朝有几位皇帝呢？
Do you know finally how many emperors in Qing dynasty?
学工知道吗？刚好一半，12人，
12.
他占有1/2。
So about half.
为什么呢？
Why?
因为这一群八旗子弟入关之后，不思进取，甘愿为奴。
And the reason is because the 8 flag youths, because they do not just keep fortune ahead, and they're just willing to be a
弟
slave.
兄姐妹，大家不要以为这个奴才跟你我无关啊，跟我们很近的这关系。
So brother and sister, don't think slave has nothing to do with you. Actually, it's so close to us.
奴才的本质，除了他甘心乐意之外呢，第二点，其次，
So the essence for the slave, other than the willingness,
他有一个畸形的快感，
and he has like an abnormal pleasure.
非常可怕的一个快感。
It's very terrible kind of pleasure.
奴才高于奴隶的地方就是甘心乐意。
So for a flunky, and they have a higher position than a slave, it's because he's willing to be
但你想
a
想
slave.
但是阿姨想想，他为什么那么满足，那么快乐呢？
So can you imagine why he just feels so content?
他是以欺压另外一个奴隶或者奴才为满足。
Because he feels content because he can bully another slave or another flunky.
和珅跑到皇宫里跟乾隆皇帝请安。
So like this guy just next to the emperor, and he sent his greeting to the emperor.
虽然是满脸满嘴的奴才相，
Even though his face, the facial expression, it just looked like a flunky.
但他却是一人之下、万人之上的别人的主子。
However, he's only under one person, but above all.
他在乾隆皇帝面前做奴才，他是一转身那个欺压所有人。
So in front of the emperor Qianlong, and he is like a flunky, and when he turned around, he bullied all the other people.
但是在整个中国历史上，揭示这种奴才的现象最深刻、最有反省意义的就是鲁迅。
So in the Chinese history, that reflect the most about this. That's the person Lu Xun.
我想我们当中都有人读过鲁迅的著作，至少《阿 Q 正传》里面，
So I guess probably some of you read this book, The True Story of RQ.
对不对？鲁迅当中《阿 Q 正传》里面那个阿 Q 主人公，大家应该很熟悉。
So the main character, his name RQ in this book, is very
他
famous.
最后是摸了小尼姑，非礼了吴邦，被判死刑。
So at the end, because he just touched the Buddhist nun, and also he had indecent assault to a woman, and he was sentenced to death.
鲁迅笔下的阿 Q 格外的快乐。
But however, RQ under this book and its writing and talking about, he just is so joyful,
要被判死刑，好喜好快乐。
and he is so happy even though he was sentenced to death.
我也是百思不得其解，
And for me, I could not understand either.
是什么道理呢？
So So what is the reason?
为什么我们中国文化、中国人的心态中是这么畸形变态呢？
How come the Chinese culture is kind of the mindset is so abnormal?
我不知道该怎么去形容这个人。
So I don't know how to describe this person.
你再看着其他的地方，
If you look at the other area about him,
只要有人一打他，
as soon as somebody hit him,
他的意识和潜意识很强烈的在告诉他，
his conscious and his subconscious told him,
也是口头语，对不对？
and it's just like the very the habit to say
哎
this.
呀，这孙子打我算了。
It's my grandson hit me. It's okay. Just let it
今
go.
天我们父母对儿女的感情很无奈，就这样子。
Isn't that the same kind of mindset that how the kids when they treat us like that?
大人对孩子说：“你才是我祖宗。”
And the parents even say, oh, the kids are just like their ancestors.
中国的父母往往对儿女缺少爱，却不缺乏怕。
The Chinese parents sometimes their lack of the love the children, but they're just afraid of their children.
这个其实是从亚当夏娃来的。
This it's because it's from Adam and
当
Eve.
亚当夏娃在伊甸园里生活时间有一段时间之后，
So when Adam and Eve they lived in the Garden of Eden for a while,
其实他们的关系发生了本质上的变化。
actually their relationship has some change.
我们第一对始祖，第一对夫妻关系，开始关系发生了一个不是爱，乃是怕的关系。
The first couple in that history, and they just changed from
蛇
love
就
to
对亚
fear.
当说话，对夏娃说话。
And the serpent just talked to Eve.
夏娃和蛇对话，
Eve and just have a conversation with the serpent.
亚当就在旁边，
Adam was next to her,
但是亚当一句话都不讲。
but Adam didn't say a word.
假如这个丈夫真正从真理上爱这个妻子，
If the husband loved his wife,
他应该拉着妻子走，不要跟他说，在上帝所创造的蛇中没有一条会说话的蛇，这不是上帝的创作，不要跟他说话，我们祷告神。
he should just drag his wife away and said, "This is not from God.
那
Let's
我想
pray."
是什么样的东西在拦阻亚当去爱他的太太？
So I was thinking, so what is the thing that hindered Adam and to talk to Eve?
就是因为这个妻子，这个夏娃比较强势，
And I'm thinking maybe Eve, this wife, and she's more dominant.
在家里面久而久之，就我们发现就是这个太太在说话，其实丈夫都不太说话。
And then just little by little, just gradually, and the husband just don't talk, and just wife has to talk, and the
夫妻
voice.
关系从爱转为怕，就成为整个人类始祖犯罪的根源。
So the relationship between the spouse and has from love transformed to the fear.
阿 Q 精神也是如此，
Same as the spirit for Aq.
他将这种意念转化为一种快感的意识，
So he transformed this kind of mindset into this kind of the pleasure.
要成为支撑他活下去的勇气，以及面对死亡的意义。
And he just had this kind of pleasure to support him to have the courage to live and also to face the meaning of death.
最后是生不如死。
And lastly, just rather die than live.
试想一下，
Think about this.
活在这样的内心世界，
If you live in this kind of a world and you're thinking the mindset,
是一种怎样的光景？
what kind of situation it is?
你不知道还好，
If you don't know, it's okay.
你一旦知道了之后呢？
Once you know about it,
一旦自我觉醒起来呢？
once you realize,
其实整个民族是处在一种生不如死的光景。
actually the whole nation, it just kind of live in the situations rather die than live.
我想鲁迅呢，已经是我们这个民族前无古人后无来者的超人，太了不起了。
And I would think that Lucian as a person, it's already like a Superman, and it's just like no one else can go just beyond him.
我在中国文化史上唯一真正的佩服的是鲁迅，
And the Chinese culture, actually, he's the person that I admire.
因为他有个勇气对我们自己民族的心脏开刀解剖，打开我们内心那颗毒瘤，并把它切除。
Because he has the courage to face it, that it's like a tumor in our heart.
只是当他想切除的时候，找不到一把能切除的手术刀。
It just when he tried to just cut off this tumor, just he could not find this like a knife the right knife to cut it.
因为鲁迅并没有一个能力去解决这个问题。
Because Lucian, he did not have the ability to solve this problem.
坦率，这是对于从我们中国文化来讲，这是一道无解的方程式。
So just be honest, it's just like a formula, just there's no way you can solve it.
要等号的两边永远也不可能平衡。
So on the both sides of the equal sign, you can never balance.
那通常，比如说农民起义啊，就会借用这个鲁迅的这个文章进行的合理的一个暴动。
And like the peasant, they just use this, they just to have the riot.
或者说是争取民主的人权运动，也会用鲁迅呢作为他自己的合法的基础。
Oh, they may just use Lu Xun as the way for them to strive for their democratic freedom for the human right.
其实从整个人类学的本质上来看，
Actually, just from the way to look at this in the mankind.
无论是 dictator 独裁还是民主制，都无法改变我们在世为奴的本质。
No matter it's dictator or democracy, just cannot change the slave system.
好，我们看第三点。
Let's see the third major point.
我讲了奴隶，讲了奴才，现在讲第三点，奴性。
I talk about slave flunky. Now I talk about the servility.
奴性的释放。
Release of servility.
首先，我们需要有信心站立。
And first, we need to stand firm in faith.
今天的经文，保罗其实是一语惊醒梦中人。
From today's scripture, actually, Apostle Paul, he just tried to use these words and to wake up us.
他说，人类只有两个选择。
And he said the mankind has only two choices.
你或者做罪的奴仆，或者做义的奴仆。
So either you just become a slave of sins, or become a slave of righteousness.
请大家留意我下一这句话。
Please pay attention what I'm going to
圣
say.
经从来没有叫我们翻身做主人。
In the Bible never tells us to turn around and be a master.
但是我们自己信了耶稣，我们得了永生，就觉得自己做了主人。
But since we just believe in Jesus Christ and we thought we become a master.
圣经说的是，你脱离罪的捆绑，是要让我们做神的仆人和使女。
And the Bible said you just get out of the binding of the sins, but we want to be the servant or maid of God.
哪怕你要做天国的领袖，
Even though you will be the leader in the heavenly kingdom.
你也只是仆人式的领袖。
And you are just only the leader as a servant.
耶稣亲自为这个真理做了诠释，做了示范。
And Jesus testified for this.
雅各、约翰的母亲要求耶稣。
So when James and John's mother, they request to Jesus.
他说：“耶稣啊，你今后得你的国的时候呢？
So they told Jesus that Jesus, on the day that you receive your kingdom,
你看，我们还是亲戚嘛。
look at this, we're relatives.
我这两个儿子一直在你身边，做你那么亲密的同工，你不
And
觉
my two sons, they're just by your side, and you're very close co-workers.
可不可以以后让我两个儿子做你的左丞右相呢？
So in the future, can you let my both sons just sit by your side and just be with you?
哪个文化都想像在上掌权者要一官半职来做。
So in any culture, and people just like to just trying to find the kind of position in the government.
如果是我，可能拍个桌子，岂有此理！哪有像你这样子管我要官的？
So if I were the person, I would say, how could that be? And how can you request the position from me?
但是耶稣把袖子卷起来，
However, what Jesus did, he just rolled up his sleeves.
一个一个门徒为他们洗脚。
And he washed each individual disciple's feet.
他说：“你们要去受人的尊重，
And he said, you want to be respected by others?
你要先去服侍他。
You need to serve people first.
天国的领袖是一个仆人式的领袖，
The leader in heavenly kingdom is just be a servant
是一个甘愿为羊舍命的领袖，
and willingly die for his sheep,
像耶稣那样。
just like Jesus.
这次去短宣，
This time I went to the mission trip.
有的时候有需要的弟兄姐妹，不同的人找你谈话，
And like a brother, sister, they have a different needs and they want to talk to me.
有的时候一天可能只能睡1个小时，不超过2个小时。
And like there are sometimes I can only sleep 1 to 2 hours a day.
有的时候我想，我真的有一个权利跟你讲，我说我也60花甲老人了，就让我多睡觉。我想很好，我有这个权利跟他这么讲。
Actually, I do have the right and to tell that I'm like age 60 and can I get more like a rest?
但是每当我想这么坚持自己的权利的时候，
But when I thought about if I want to persist about my right,
我就想起耶稣在为门徒洗脚。
I remember about how Jesus washed his disciples' feet.
我说主啊，我的身体上的亏欠弥补足，我用心去服侍
And
你的孩子。
so I just prayed to God. I said, God, just please just help me to just replenish what I'm lacking, and so I can serve.
亲爱的弟兄姐妹，
Dear brothers and
请
sisters,
问你是否愿意甘心做上帝的仆人和使女？
are you willing to be God's servant and God's maid?
我们是否愿意谦卑的服侍教会、服侍家人、服侍这个时代的人？
Are you willing to humbly serve the church, our family, and this generation.
这是需要用信心站立在主的面前，相信神必要在他的国度里面报答我。
And it just takes our faith that we believe in God, He will reward us.
我们这一路前去，一开始觉得费用也不够了，好像也担心这个担心那个，最后上帝把我们所有的需要都满足。
So during this process for this mission trip, in the beginning we thought we just lack of this and that, but at the end, God just provide all.
亲爱的弟兄，
Dear brothers and sisters,
信心去藏在你的生命。
your faith will bear your life.
好，我们看第二点，其次，
And second,
客随主便。
a guest should suit the convenience of the host.
我想上个礼拜方中传道也讲到，上帝才是主体，对不对？
So last week Minister Flora just preached about God is the subject.
我稍稍提提这个观念。
Let me just mention this concept again.
我们来到这个世界上，我们需要问：我们到底是谁啊？
So we come to this world, ask ourselves, who are we?
我们是主人呢，还是客人或者客体？
Are we the master, a stranger, or are we a sub-object?
从小到大，我也是唱国际歌长大。
And since I was a child, I just grew up, we sing about this song of the international song.
从来就没有什么救世主，也没有什么神仙皇帝。
And there's no so-called redeemer.
我们要做世上的主人。
We want to be the master in the world.
那这个是很热血沸腾的。
And we're just like full of passion and thinking about this.
人类的罪性是很容易在这种骄傲和膨胀当中达到极点。
The sinful nature is so easily just kind of like exaggerated like this.
但是当我们相信了耶稣基督之后，
But since we believe in Jesus Christ,
我们需要了解一个最基本的真理：
we need to understand the very basic truth.
你才是那个客体，
You are the object.
上帝才是那个主体，
God is the subject.
他是我们的创造者，
He's our creator.
我们是他的受造物。
And we're created by Him.
如果这个真理不清楚，
If we're not clear about this truth,
那我们就如羊走迷嘛，
then we'll get lost.
我就随便自己想做什么就做什么。
And I can do whatever I want to do.
我为什么要听你去说话呢？
Why should I listen to you?
我为什么听你牧师讲道？
Why should I listen to pastors preaching?
这次在夏令会当中，也是有一个弟兄跟我同样说话。
This time in the summer camp, and there's a brother talk to me like this.
就是我一个非常好的多年的老朋友。
Actually, he's my longtime old friend.
我们讲的是不是要为回教徒传福音？
So we talk about should we just share gospel to the
我
Muslims?
们在晚上论坛的时候提到，我们要爱伊朗人、伊拉克人、中东人这些回教徒。
So in the evening forum, when we talk about we need to love the people like Iranian or like the
他
Muslims.
坐在台下拍拍桌子，扬长而去。
And he was sitting in the audience, and he stood up, and he slept on the table. He left.
我也很茫然，哎，怎么这个人什么时候需要拍拍，去外面运动一些什么舒服，我不了解。
And I was puzzled during that moment. I said, oh, maybe he wants to go outside, just rest a little bit.
后来论坛结束，他就回来，
So when the forum finished, he came back.
说王牧师，
He said, Pastor Wang,
你真的确定神是爱这些回教徒吗？
are you sure God loves the Muslims?
如果你确实这么认为，
If you truly believe so,
那我可能考虑要退教。
then I will consider I want to leave this Christianity.
我就跟他讲，弟兄啊，
And I said, brother,
这允许我用神仆人的身份，很清楚、明确的告诉你，神爱你。
and I said, allow me as a servant of God, I want to tell you,
让
Yes, God loved them.
接受他的人都要爱他。
and God asked that whoever accept Jesus, love them.
我说神也爱共产党员，
And I said, God also loved the Communist Party members.
神也爱国民党员、
And God also loved the KMT members.
民主党员、共和党员，上帝都爱，
And Democratic and the Republicans, the members. God loved them all.
并没有区别。
No difference.
我说这是我活的使命。
And I told him, it's a mission of my
我
life.
说不管是谁，只要来到上帝面前，我们就用基督的爱去爱他。
And I said, no matter who this person is, we just love him in Christ's
我
love.
记得当天晚上他非常失望的离开。
That night, he left, very disappointed.
我想起当年耶稣见了那个少年官，
I remember, I believe when Jesus met the young officers.
为什么讲这个少年官？
Why I talk about this young officers?
其实我这个老朋友就是蛮有一股热情的爱国、爱人，也 爱主是很好的。
Because this old-time friend actually he loved people and he is full of passion.
那我回头想，他问你到底出在哪里呢？
Then when I think back, so what's his problem?
一个有这么有爱的弟兄，
A brother who has so much love
这么愿意服侍人、爱人的一个弟兄，
and who's just so willingly just to serve others.
我们关系非常好的。
Actually, we have a very good relationship.
最后他跟我说：“你说的这个话，我不一定要听你的。”
At the end, and he told me, the words you said, I don't have to listen to you.
我跟他讲，弟兄，你不听我的，真的不算什么，我算啥？那爸爸的命不要想我。
And so I told him, well, it's not about me. I'm nobody.
但是我希望你要在乎我口中所讲的道、所说的真理、所讲的圣经。
I told him, but I hope you do care about the truths I told you
那
about
天晚
God.
上他跟我跪得今夜无眠，他没办法睡。
I guess maybe that night he just sleepless.
第二天早上灵修早上他都没有来，
The next morning, the devotion time, he did not show up.
到了下午的时候晃来，
And by the afternoon, he came.
见了面也不跟我说话，
And when we saw each other, he did not talk to me.
可能还憋了一口气，
Maybe he still have some anger in his
气
mind.
里面开始就一直在那里祷告。
So I prayed for him.
我说主啊，一个这么爱你、这么爱你的弟兄，我说你要把他拉住，不要放手，不要放手，拉住。
So I prayed to God, God, you just let him, this brother love you so much. Please don't let him go.
我一直思想他的问题到底出在哪里？
I just kept thinking, what's his problem?
他的问题不是他single，不是他单独，是我们每一个人都有可能遇到的问题。
Actually, his problem just not him. Actually, maybe each one of us, we have this problem.
其实就是没有搞清楚谁是主体，谁是客体。
And the key is, he did not distinguish who is the subject and who is the object.
他是带着一个主体的生命进入到神的家庭和国度里面，去从事上帝的事业。
And he just come to just God's kingdom and just treat himself as a subject and to face all.
弟兄姐妹，当你的主客体关系没有摆正的时候，
Dear brothers and sisters, if you cannot distinguish
如果你觉得
subject
什么
and
事
the
情都
object,
是你可以做决定，而不是上帝做决定的时候，
if you think everything, you're the one who can make the decision, but not God,
你可能还在上帝的国度的门外汉。
maybe you're still outside of the door of God's kingdom.
圣经说什么 ，so I don't care，我不在乎。
I don't care what the Bible says.
弟兄姐妹知道，
Brother and sister, do you know?
我们这一生所有的意义，就是完成这个主体对我们这个客体所安排的这个一生的结果。
You know, the meaning of our life, we just fulfill the mission from the subject God to us as we're the object.
能不能对你的旁边的弟兄姐妹说，上帝是主体，我们是客体，可以吗？
Can you tell your neighbor, the person sitting next to you, say, God is the subject
上帝是主体，
and
我
I
们是客体。
we are the object.
几天对利亚说，利亚对你说，那你要说，每个人都要说，上帝的主体，我们是客体。这样的话，我们要常常挂在嘴边，放在心上，反复思想，以致成为我们生命的价值。
So oftentimes we just have this mindset at the value in our heart. God is the subject, we are the object.
好，最后也提做自由人这个观念。
So lastly, we just mentioned a little bit about the concept of being a free person.
我们大多数人对自由是有误解。
So most of us, we have a misunderstanding about freedom.
我记得我刚刚32年前刚刚出国的时候，
I remember about 32 years ago, I first left China.
我离开了罗湖关，进入红磡火车站，你知道我第一个感觉是什么？
You know, when I left I entered to the train station in Hong Kong.
叫做罗湖关。海关的名字叫做罗湖关。
The custom in Hong Kong, and just try to get a train.
那个时候全国只有一个口岸，就是罗湖。
And that's only the place, and the custom place in Hong
我
Kong.
出到红磡火车站，我说哎，组织不见了。
So when I went to the train station, I said, so where's the government, the overseas us?
怎么没有人来接我呢？
How come nobody just come to pick me up?
突然间发现好像身上满身的不习惯。
And all of a sudden, I just feel so uncomfortable.
我们觉得好像习惯了一种捆绑和桎梏。
So we just get used to be blinded by something.
自由是我们不习惯，
Freedom is something we're not used to.
但是我们却不了解什么是自由。
However, we don't understand what is freedom.
我们一旦加个引号得了自由之后，
Once we just so-called we receive the freedom,
我们就误会好像自由是想干什么就干什么。
so we misunderstood that freedom is something we want to do. We can do whatever we want to do.
我今天很清楚地告诉你，自由不是你想干什么就干什么。
Let me tell you very clearly, freedom is not you can do whatever you want to do.
这在人类始祖的身上证明已经是错的。
It just proved in our first ancestors.
我们也为此付出了沉重的代价。
And for this, we paid a heavy price.
那么第二个观念，
Second concept.
自由也不是不想做什么就不想做什么。
And freedom also, it is not that you don't want to do something and you just don't do it.
我再重复一下，第一个不是自由，不是想做什么就做什么。
Let me repeat one more time. Freedom is not you just do whatever you want to do.
亚当夏娃就是这样子，错了。
Adam and Eve, they're like this.
第二个呢，自由也不是不想做什么就不想做什么。
And second, freedom is not you just don't do what you do not want to do.
你记得约拿吗？
Do you remember Jonah?
上帝让他去尼尼微传福音。
God just asked him to go to Nineveh to share gospel.
不对呀、这个是不对。
And he said, it's not right. This is not right.
他觉得他约拿才是主体，上帝是客体。
Jonah thought he's the subject, God is the
你
object.
怎么让我去跟这些回教徒去传福音呢？
How can you ask me to share gospel to the Muslims?
那个时候还没有回教徒。
During the time, there's no Muslim.
要是外邦人都是尸体都是在地里面丢去地里面当火烧的，
That those Gentiles, their dead body, just supposed to throw in the hell.
他们怎
Burn.
么能够享受跟我们选民一样的待遇，回到天上？
How can they enjoy just like the elect one like us?
所以约拿觉得自己比上帝还要公义，
So Jonah thought he's more righteous than
所
God.
以上帝叫他做一件事情，
So God asked him to do something
他不想做，
he did not want to do.
他不想做他就不想做，
He just don't do what he does not want to do.
就悄悄地搭了船往西班牙去，
And he just took the boat and tried to go to Spain.
在海上，上帝兴起大风，他哇，
So on ocean, and God just sent the big wind.
全船人说这个风到底从哪来的？
The people in the whole boat just asked,
那
where
个时候有
did this
一个风
wind
是
come
就是
from?
自谦，看看在我们当中是谁引起这个风浪。
So during that time, that the culture to cast a lot
结果一
to
自
see
谦，
which one.
就指出就是约拿。
After they cast a lot, it's Jonah.
约拿看没办法了，只好露出身份。
Jonah thought he just nothing to hide, so
这
he
个风
revealed
浪跟
himself.
你们都没关系，就是我的。
And he said, just bad word
你们
is
只要把
from
我往
me.
大海里一丢，你们就没事了，
He
风
said-
平浪静。
Once you throw me to the ocean, then everything will be
因为
fine.
上帝叫我做一件事，我就不想做，我也不去做。
Because God asked me to do something, I just don't want to do it, and I didn't do it.
我知道逃不掉的，
I know I cannot escape.
就他就被丢到大海里去。
So he was thrown to the ocean.
一条大鱼，把他吞进去。
So a big fish swallowed him.
约拿在地上一直不悔改，
Jonah did not repent on the ground.
落进鱼腹当中呢。
Once he fall into the fish's tummy,
在鱼的腹还有一些空气的空间，还有一些祷告的可能，开始跟神祷告。
so inside of the fish's tummy, he still has some like the opportunity that he can breathe and he can
我
pray.
鼓励大家去读这个祷告文，非常棒。
I encourage you to read the book of Jonah, to read his prayer.
我称这个祷告文是911的。
You know, I call this prayer, it's like a 911.
我在93年的时候，我动完手术以后3天躺床上不能动，我就用这段经文跟神去祷告。
I remember 1993, after the surgery, and I just lying on the bed, I just could not move. I prayed to God with this
我说神
scriptures.
啊，现在我就是越南了，
And I said, I told to God, God, I'm Jonah right
你
now.
叫我全世界服侍神，我就是不干啊。
You asked me, you called me to serve you full time,
我
and
觉
I
得
don't
我
want to.
我觉得我自己是一个赚钱的人，我到搞股票市场这些我很熟悉，真把我搞到这来，我不要。
And I just feel like I'm the person that can do business and do the stock. I don't want to
前
serve
后总
God.
共反悔了13次。
I just 13 times, I just regret it. I
神
changed
跟
my
我说
mind.
你说话不算数啊。
And God said, your words, you just did not just do what you say.
主啊，我承认我以前反悔13次不对。
I told God, I said, God, yes, I admitted that I just 13 times I just didn't follow you.
现在都晚了，
Now it's too late.
我现在身体健康都没了，
I lost my health.
我躺着动也动不了。
Now I just lie on the bed.
神说你别忘了，让你这样的是我，使你健康恢复，难道不也是我吗？
God told me, don't you know it is from me?
我当时脑袋一激灵，我说有这样的事情，
And all of a sudden my mind just kind of just wake up and I said,
我
oh,
猛
it's from
然
you.
想起原来我才是客体，他是主体，
And then I just remind me that God is the subject, I am the object.
他是我生命的主啊！
He's the Lord of my life.
我说神，你要如果能让我重新恢复起来，我就全世界服侍你，不后悔。
And then I tell God, God, if you just heal me, I'll serve you.
神说那起来，
And God said, get up.
我记得还是半信半疑，起来看有没有人走起来。
So actually, I still have a little doubt, but I just got up.
所有的疼痛都不见了。
All the pain disappeared.
刘姐，
Brothers and
想
sisters,
到自由是什么呢？
now do you know what is freedom?
不是自由，不是你想做什么就做什么。
Freedom is not you just do whatever you want to do.
自由也不是你不想做什么就不做什么。
And freedom is not you do not do what you don't want to do.
自由就是受造的人去完成造物主的心。
Freedom is a person created by God and fulfill the Creator's will.
请问你愿意
Are you willing to
完成造物主的心？
fulfill the Creator's heart?
这才是你的自由。
That's your freedom.
凡是不按照上帝的心意走自己的路，
Whoever do not follow God's will and walk your own way,
无论 yes 或 no， 都是捆绑。
no matter it's yes or no, it's a binding.
请问你是否愿意？
Are you willing to?
好，今天这堂三奴成who之道，我们就讲到这里。
Today's sermon, who do the three slaves become, is finished.
要不愿意做奴隶，却甘愿做奴才，是人类的悲剧。
Not wanting to be a slave, but be a flunky, that's a tragedy of mankind.
而唯有在基督耶稣里成为新造的人，甘愿做仆人使女，那么旧事以后就都变成新的。
And only be a new creation in Christ and willingly be God's servant and maid, then the old has gone, the new is here.
问题是你愿意吗？
The key is, are you willing to?
我们一起祷告。
Let's pray.
天父，谢谢你，
Heavenly Father, we thank you.
谢谢你给我们一份自由，
God, we thank you give us this freedom.
让我们能够超越奴隶的地位，
So we can just go beyond the position as a slave
也能够胜过奴才的捆绑，
and just overcome the binding of a slave.
让我们有真理的心和智慧，认识到奴性的可怕。
So we have this heart of the truth and the wisdom to understand how terrible it is as a slave.
我求你帮助我们成为在基督里新造的人，
God, just please help us be the new creation in Jesus Christ.
让我们的信仰不是停留在嘴边，
So our belief is not just just only stay in our word,
而
mouth,
是活在我们的生命里。
about living our life.
感谢祷告奉耶稣基督得胜的名求。
We pray in Jesus Christ's name.
阿门。
Amen.